Hey you guys, it's Rowan Trudon, back with another video about Wicca. This one is in the segment of ritual tools, and this video is concentrated on the Book of Shadows. So I know I just said in my last video that there aren't any tools that are necessary and only you are necessary for magic. Well, I still kind of hold to that, but if there was a tool that was more important than all the rest, that's most necessary in comparison, I would have to say it's definitely the Book of Shadows. The Book of Shadows is your written record and your Bible. You know, it's your way of showing everything that you've learned in Wicca, and it's a way of tracking your progress and collecting all the information from all the various sources that you've looked into in your research. So there are plenty of published books of shadows out there by many famous Wiccans, but keep in mind that these books of shadows are definitely, while they're a good thing to read, you should always have your own book of shadows, something that you've written yourself and that you've compiled that shows all the things that you've learned and the things that really reach you. It's a marker of your progress, and it's a way for you to keep track. So there are many types of books of shadows. Some people just buy a journal and they write in it, and they write their thoughts and reflections and spells and, you know, useful tidbits, and that's their book of shadows, which is totally fine. It's certainly the most economical way. There are other people who sort of want to make it fancy and old looking by like tea staining the pages and burning them and writing in fancy script or something, and that's good too. Personally, I think that I use a pretty useful method because I have a digital book of shadows, and then I print the pages once they've been typed up, and then I keep them on hand. So it's nice because there's like a backed up copy that I have just in case something were to happen to my book of shadows. And then I also have one that I can use day to day, just offhand. So this is my book of shadows. It's gotten a little thick, as you can see. It takes a long time to compile, but what I have is, you know, these printed pages, and I keep them in these laminated sheets, and it makes the pages last longer, and more than that, it weatherproofs it. Weather can be a pretty serious problem because you're going to be using your book of shadows in the circle, and there are going to be times when it's raining and you're outside and your pages get wet and oh no. So having everything printed and having it like carefully protected is really useful. I also keep other things in here. I keep my basics of Wicca and all of that information. I keep like photos that I find really inspiring. I also have these little divider tabs as well to kind of keep track, because once you start putting in a lot of information, it's going to be hard to find things. So I like to be organized about this kind of stuff. Not everybody is the same way, but personally this is the best way for myself, is just to have it pretty neat. You also want your book of shadows to be legible, because most often you're going to be reading by candlelight, and if you have bad handwriting and you just kind of like scribble it, that's going to be a bit of a bother when you're reading in poor light. So keep that in mind. But there is no right or wrong way to do your book of shadows. Just do whatever feels comfortable and best to you. Just keep in mind that it should be durable, whatever it is, because you're going to be studying for a long time, and there's just going to be more information and more information, and it's also going to be refined. You're going to learn things and want to delete other things, and refine what you've learned into something smoother. So there's definitely a lot of room to grow and change in your book of shadows, and I think that that's the best part of it. It's not like a holy text from other faiths where it's just kind of one thing. It changes with you, and your book of shadows from today may be different from the one that you have 10 years from now, or at least it should be, because you're learning all the time and your interest and emphasis changes all the time. But whatever it is, you should keep track of it, and you should use it in your day-to-day life. So that's it on this segment for the Book of Shadows. I hope it's been a good video, and I will see you guys soon. Blessed be.